Test, test. We are good. All right. This is not the first game I've run on a stream since I've done a couple of caravan games as a DM, but this is my first that I've created, so boy am I nervous. But we're just gonna jump right in. Any introductions that need to be done, we're gonna do it live. So here we go. All right. Everybody ready?
Yeah, good to go.
Sure.
Welcome, travelers, to the Dolby Inn. This is a weekly series of one-shots which could range from monster battles to role-playing antics to spooky quests. It's basically my playground to do whatever I want, but it's also a playground for the players. I welcome any homebrewed content, so long as it doesn't break the game or ruin it for other players. And players are welcome to use the same characters every week, or bring new ones each week. It's up to you guys what your characters are doing at the inn when we start the game. And as for items, I think we'll say personal items go to you, the player. So if you bring in a new character, he can have the same items that you acquired from a different character last week, if that makes sense. You can just switch items between your characters. We'll also have a party inventory just to make it simple like we do with the caravan game, so you can stash all your stuff in there and we'll just pull from it any time, any week as a group. We'll just have an accumulated pile of inventory. Let's introduce ourselves. Robin, tell us race and class of Lincoln Heronius.
He is a Hylian, and he is a level 5 bard.
And how are you starting this game at the inn?
He's just stopping by the inn to get some milk. It's his favorite.
Okay. Eric?
Hello, I'm playing Dr. Richland Buttstuff, and he is a half-elf. He is a wizard, and he runs a quilting shop in town. And so he's stopping in for a couple drinks at the end.
Nice. And how about Gumby?
Hey, I am playing Lucas Cage, the human. There is a local church in the town, and he's just stopping into the inn because he kind of doesn't feel like sitting at the church not doing anything. So he's coming here looking for trouble.
I'm going to be posting some pictures, but if you want to locate anything or look at anything, all the pictures I've posted so far in the pinned messages. I'll post a few of the in here real quick. Mostly for the stream's sake. Each tile is about 5 feet, so if you're tile to tile, you're adjacent to each other. So let's see. Lucas Cage, did you say what you were doing at the end? I might have been distracted.
Oh yeah, no, he's just come down from the church.
Oh, right.
He doesn't really just want to hang out in the church all day. He's sort of trying to get stuff done, trying to get into scuffles, that kind of a dude. So he's just looking for anything more exciting than sitting at the church doing nothing at all.
Very well. Which one of you would like to start the story? Who wants to go first? How about Milk Boy?
Every afternoon he likes to come in and just get a bottle of his favorite milk, so he's probably going to go talk to the, he's going to go to the counter.
Okay. But they're all pretty familiar with him already.
Yeah, he's a regular. He lives in the town.
So, I'm going to post one more picture here. You approach the counter and you see the almost always present Curry Beauregard, the general manager, and he says, now normally when you walk into the inn, he's very jovial and good-natured, but he actually almost doesn't even seem to notice you. He kind of glances up for a second. He says, "Oh, hey, Lincoln. Hello. You'll be here for another milk, I suppose?"
He just nods his head and waves.
Very well, kitchen's open. Just help yourself. I'm sure that Rupert's in there. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. And then he says, "Oh, hold on, wait. Bloody hell, where's Feather?" And then you hear there's a big moose head behind him, behind the counter, and the moose kind of opens its mouth and says, "I'm out cleaning the giant room, Mr. Beauregard." And Curry looks up and says, "I hate it when she does that. Yes, go help yourself. I think Chef Rupert's in there right now." Why don't you roll a perception check as you're walking towards the dining area?
Am I doing that in the Discord?
You can roll your own dice if you want.
Okay.
Honor system and all that.
And you said it was perception?
Yep.
I have an 18.
Oh, wow. Okay. One thing that you notice as you're walking from the counter towards the dining area is that the stage, which is usually empty when you're just getting milk, is actually kind of strewn with some instruments and things set up on it, as well as some boxes that look kind of flashy. They're decorative. They've got stars on them and a lot of colors. And so let's see here. How about Richland and Lincoln? Where are you right now? How are you? Are you in the inn? Are you just entering, or when do you guys want to show up?
I guess I'd be showing up about now, or actually, I'd probably already be there. Just sitting at the tables near one of the stages, one of the tables near the stage.
In that case, Lincoln, you see, I'm trying to remember, you see Richland sitting at one of the tables as well. And then where are you right now, Lucas?
No, I'm Lucas.
Where are you? You see Lucas at the table. Where are you right now, Richland? Richland, the quilt maker.
I would be at one of those long tables that's like facing the food.
Okay, you're at the bar.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Lincoln, you walk in and you see Richland and Lucas at the table. I don't know whether you guys know each other or not. I guess that's up to you. What do you guys want to do?
I know, first of all, I want to do something. I've probably done it before, but I want to use my divine sense and see what's up with that moose. Is that thing a demon? What's going on with that bad boy?
I don't know all the details of divine sense, but if you...
Okay, it tells me the location of a celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet. So if that thing is one of those things, my sense will pop, and it's like, that thing is one of those things.
You detect that it is a taxidermied moose head.
Okay. Didn't it speak?
It sure did.
Taxidermy senses are
But it's
tingling.
not undead or a celestial or a fiend.
Nope, it's spoken a woman's voice too.
That's interesting. I'm assuming
Moose
it's an
can be
intercom.
women.
But that was it. Yeah, that would have freaked him out the first couple times. Like, what in the world is going on here? But yeah, I would assume I've seen everybody at the bar before.
Okay.
So yeah.
Other than you guys, this hotel is not exactly bustling. It's probably the noonish hour, so most of the guests have checked out if they were scheduled to check out, and a lot of people are just working and cleaning and stuff. It's just kind of midday boringness at the hotel.
Yeah, this is about the time that I finish helping at the ranch and doing things for people around town, so.
Okay. Just pulling this up real quick. Where is my Chevy boy? Oh, there he is. Sorry. You walk up to the counter, and Chef Rupert is kind of cleaning up the breakfast items. It's mostly dishes at this point, and everything else is pretty much put away. But he sees you, and he walks up and he says, "Well, we'll see what he says. We'll see if I can even remember the voice I had planned for him."
Okay, so Lincoln just walks up to him and holds out a little pouch, and it has a few coins in it.
Excellent. Another milk for you. I have it right here. I knew you'd be arriving. This is always the same time you show up. You know, you're a very scheduled little boy. Wait, are you a little boy or a teenager?
Probably a teenager.
He calls you a little boy anyway.
That's fine. The Hylians are very young.
He pulls a bottle of milk out of the, I don't know, ice cabinet or whatever technology they have in this period and sets it on the counter for you. And he says, "Will there be anything else? How is your mother? How is your farm? How is your, This is clearly a quite extroverted fellow.
He nods in appreciation and gives you a big thumbs up.
Excellent, excellent. You know, you talk a lot. You should, I can hardly get a word in with you sometimes. And he says that really jovially, knowing that Lincoln is mute. But you guys have known each other long enough that it's just a joke between friends. And then he says, Have you met these other fellows? I believe it was Richland and Luke?
It's Lucas, my younger brother.
Ah, Lucas, yes.
I will kind of raise my mug towards Lincoln. Sorry, I was like Luke. No, towards Lincoln. Be like, "Hi, Lincoln. How are you today?"
He looks at you, smiles jovially, and holds up his bottle of milk.
Don't mind Lincoln here. He's a bit shy around strangers. He don't talk much. As you guys are awkwardly trying to be social, you see a man walk up to the counter of the inn, and he's kind of an older gentleman. He looks like a traveler, but he also looks he's kind of got fancier clothes, like he's well dressed. He looks studious, I guess you could say. And he starts talking to Curry, who kind of is a little distracted, but then he kind of he gestures over to the kitchen and the dining room, and the guy starts making his way towards you three.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't someone that's from the town then?
You guys have never seen him before.
Okay. I'll walk up to him and say, "Hello, sir. Doc Richland. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. Could I buy you a drink today?"
Ah, that would be very nice. Thank you. My name is Phineas Milfred. I was just inquiring around town about maybe getting some services, and that gentleman over at the counter gestured me towards you three.
Services? Well, I mean, if you're looking for any quilted goods, please come by the Stitched Witch. Me and my wife and my son run it, and finest goods in the land, I assure you. And he'll kind of gesture towards his own clothing, which is, it's like really stupidly fancy armor. It is not very great, but it looks really nice. And I'll turn to the chef and be like, 3 ales, please.
Come in right up, my good friend. And he goes to work at that, and the kind of elderly professor-looking gentleman sits down at the bar.
I am most appreciative. Did you say the Stitched Witch?
Yes.
That sounds very dark and sinister. That's my type of quilt shop.
Well, we deal in all patterns, whether dark or not, sinister or celestial. I'm sure you can find something to your liking.
Sounds excellent. I may have to stop by sometime. Tell me, good sir, are you normally into the dark and the sinister?
Well, I'd say I have an interest in everything, really. Just really enjoy for learning's sake.
And how about you two?
He gestures over to Lincoln and Lucas.
Lucas be like, I barely heard that, but you sound creepy. I do like killing interesting things, dark things, I guess.
Would you care to come on over, sir, and listen to my proposition? Perhaps I will buy you a drink.
He's gonna get up with like that face where he's like, oh god, and he just makes sure to pick up his gigantic fuck off greatsword as he just carries it with him, just to be like. This is like a frat boy trying to intimidate somebody. Like, it's kind of ridiculous, but he'll make his way over to the bar and sit down next to you guys.
Ooh, the warrior type.
Lincoln does not hide his expression, and he just seems really weirded out by it. It's one of those. He's one of those kind of people who doesn't hide his facial expression when someone is really strange.
I kind of envision the seating pattern to be like he's at one stool, and then there's 2 on one side of him, and then 1 on the opposite side of him. So he's sandwiched between you, and he pulls out an old, worn book that looks like a journal, and he kind of sets it on the counter with a thunk, and he spreads out his long, spindly fingers and kind of taps away at it, and kind of looks to his left and right as he says,
Well, gentlemen, here's what I have. I was looking for some people who are interested in, well, potential wealth, potential exploration, history may be involved, a great many things. It could be the adventure of a lifetime, or it may be a simple task that remains to be seen.
Cool riddles. What are you actually trying?
he looks over at Lucas. I get Lucas and Lincoln mixed up. He looks over at Lucas and kind of gives him a unbrushed, toothy grin. And he cracks open this journal and slides it over to you. And you see in the opening pages, it says it's a journal by a man named Reginald Roxy. And he says, "Have you ever heard of him before?"
Would I have?
No, probably not. And that's good, because you see, what I have here is one of a kind. Reginald Roxy, he was a man before this city even was built. He dabbled in the magic, he dabbled in ancient scripts, he dabbled in languages and cultures and learned a great deal, and much of it is logged in this journal. I have a copy myself, so I would give this to you, and all I need you to do is go down into the Torrington Catacombs, follow the instructions in his journal, and bring me back a simple scroll. And as a reward, well, you'll be able to keep whatever you find down there in those dusty combs, as well as it's told that Reginald was buried down there with treasure of his own. He was a man of great wealth. Tell me, do you think you'd be interested?
Lucas will look around. He's like, as a man of the church, grave robbing doesn't necessarily seem like a great thing, but I'm all for a fight, so if these two decide, I might tag along just for some protection.
Excellent.
I'm very excited. Like, I have this schoolboy-looking grin on my face. I'm like, well, I mean, I have no real interest in wealth, but history and knowledge, now that sounds interesting to me. And I'll turn to Lucas, kind of clap him on the shoulder, and think of it not as grave robbing, but an archaeological expedition.
Exactly.
I mean, when you put it like that, I wouldn't even think twice about what it actually means.
And you, my young fellow. He looks at Lincoln.
You're cutting out. I can't hear you if you were talking to me.
He says, "And you, my young fellow," and he looks over at Lincoln.
He hesitantly looks at everyone else, and he stands up, and he pulls this sword out of his sheath, and it has a purple hilt, and it just goes shing, and he just strikes this heroic pose. I want you to know that I legitimately, like, pulled my arm out. Like, you could see me, I don't know why.
Then
I give him 2 thumbs up.
Then we're all in accord. Now, according to the journal, you'll need to go to the western corridor in the catacombs. The gentleman there will be able to escort you. From there, you just follow the clues in the journal. I'm sure you'll have no problem. And then, when you're finished, bring me back the scroll. And don't get cocky, please. I've sent other travelers down there before with little results, and I would go myself, but, well, you can see I'm getting up there in years. Youthful people like yourself. And as he's droning on, suddenly the chef sets your drinks down there and says, "There you go, my friends. Sorry it took so long. The the ale machine was broken."
Ale machine.
I mean, the tap?
What is this, McDonald's?
Not a problem, good sir, not a problem. And I'll, like, count the heads that are there, and I'm like, 5 more ales, please. And I hand the 1 ale to the first guy that I was introduced to. I don't remember his name. Was that Phineas, or was
Sure.
the old guy Phineas?
Old guy's Phineas. First guy here is Chef Rupert.
Oh, I
Oh.
thought there was another person.
It's just you three, Phineas, Chef Rupert.
Okay,
then,
and Phineas.
Yeah, and then Curry's over at the main counter in the lobby.
Okay, then I'll hand the 1 ale to Phineas, and then down one, and then start like sipping the second one.
Okay. You guys are welcome to do anything you want before you leave. Otherwise, we'll probably fast forward to the Catacombs since we're trying to keep this around 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think I'm good, so nothing for Lucas.
All right. Oh.
I would just pick up a few items on the way there, so I'll just add those to my inventory. They're pretty much just like a small crossbow, some weapons, starting items, basically.
No worries. All right. So, as you can see from the map, the... oh, I didn't post that one. Let me see. Do-do-do-do. I know you guys can see this. I just want it on record for the stream in case anybody would ever watch.
It's right next to it, pretty much.
Pretty much. It's kind of in back of the Dolby Inn. You guys just have to make a short job. Now, the fact that it's in back of the Dolby Inn doesn't really do well for the Dolby's business. To have dead corpses sitting behind their building. It's just a short jot over there. You enter in through one of the doors, and it was kind of empty and vacant, and all the sound echoes, and it's kind of spooky from the get-go. But you finally encounter another old man. It seems like everyone involved with corpses and bodies are old. He's more portly, and he's surprisingly jovial for a man who deals with the dead. He says, "It's nice to have visitors. The Torrington Catacombs, they date." And he starts droning on about history and shit as he starts walking you, because you kind of explain to him what you're looking for, and visitors are welcome. So he starts walking you through some hallways, down some steps and things. He says, "The Torrington Catacombs date back to long before the city was even built." Like, you didn't ask him for this tour spiel, but he's giving it to you anyway. "They're now more of a museum."
Lucas is going to pretend to be very interested.
"They're more of a museum.
Richland is very interested.
But unfortunately, one that's struggled to get any sort of funding. The city officials view it as, well, more of an eyesore these days. Most people think this place is unsettling, and few venture in outside of a dare or for research purposes." And he kind of looks at the journal in your guys' hand, and he says, "I assume yours was research purposes?"
Yeah, I mean, that's what the old guy said. The other old guy, not you.
Good. Because a lot of the people who come in under a dare end up defiling one thing or another. Not that I can keep it up. The lack of funding has made it difficult. There's only a few of us here, as I'm sure you can imagine. It's hard for us to keep the place upkeep, and we also manage the boneyard as well. Well, the further in you go, the more dust and cobwebs you see, and eventually you reach a large wooden door in a round room. And I'm going to post that map right now. So you start at the south in the entrance. That's the round room. The man pulls out a ring of large old keys, and they jingle in his hands as they shake. But he manages to get one into the hole, and he turns it with a clank. And the creaking's loud and ominous as the heavy door slowly swings open, and he says, "Here we are, the western corridor. I'll leave the door unlocked until you're finished. He's out of breath already. He's kind of a portly gentleman, and this was a long walk. He says, "If you need any further assistance, you can ring this bell here," and he points to a large bell on the wall. "And I have to ask that you please be respectful. Don't desecrate any bodies, and please, above all, don't tamper with magic down in the catacombs." Anything else?
What do you mean don't tamper with magic? Like, what are you even talking about?
Oh, honestly, I don't know. All I know is I just like to leave the dead at rest. There's people out there we've had in the past who, well, sometimes they're up to no good. He kind of eyes the journal in your hands again nervously. You can tell that he thinks you guys seem friendly, but that's a little sketchy. You guys are doing something down here. But you also see that in his haste to leave, he kind of doesn't want to know. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll be on my way. Ring the bell if you need anything. He slowly starts to walk away, leaving you at the open door with an old, cracked staircase leading down into the corridor. I'm going to post one more picture here. You guys decide to open up the journal. Which one of you wants to operate the journal? Who's holding it?
I would probably be pretty interested in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I say the doctor makes sense, yeah.
Richland, you crack open the journal and kind of you manage. It's not too hard. It's not a super full journal, and it's not tiny text. You crack it open to where it mentions the Catacombs of Torrington, although you get it by the map that it was Torrington, but it didn't exist yet. It was called something else. But here's the page you find to start off your journey. I'll just read it. It says, this is by Reginald Roxy. He says, I once believed that men who passed on unto death remained there until Judgment Day. I realize now what a naivety that was. Evil of this nature cannot simply be laid to rest with the dead. As the dead may be tampered with, I must go deeper. And then another passage. I've inscribed a warning in each language I know, as well as Sylvan and Draconic, with the aid of my partner Codsworth. God forgive me for what I must do to him once we're through. Am I committing evil deeds to prevent more evil? Perhaps that is so. But I know of no other way to keep this secret buried. And then it's got a drawing that says Codsworth Lachester. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. God rest his soul.
All right.
So would you
doctor would
guys
have
like
had that,
to
right?
roll perception checks?
Yes. Said perception?
Mm-hmm.
Something I'm not good at.
Oh,
11.
8.
9.
So I'm just pulling a couple things up real quick. All right. So when you first enter in, you're facing north. To your left on the west side, you see a couple doors and then an open passageway. Right in front of you, there's a big gate, and you see the a couple like a monument and a what do you call those things? Where you bury people in a mausoleum. And then on your right side to the east, you see another metal gate, wooden door, and 2 open spaces. So you can intuit that you're looking for some sort of warnings or something based on what this guy wrote.
Looking for the warnings in languages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, yes. I'll look to the doctor. Doctor, where do you should we split up in 3 groups immediately, or should we stay together and check these rooms, or what are you thinking?
Well, I think at this point we could split up. And if anyone sees anything dangerous or some sort of warning of any kind, cry out, and then the other two of us will hurry off towards. Does that sound good to you, Lincoln?
He just nods.
Well, excellent. Yes.
Lincoln, Lincoln, just give him a shout if you see anything.
He pulls his sword out, shing, and slices it through the empty air. He goes, hot!
Yes, exactly like that. That would be perfect.
All right, I guess I'm going to tell the doctor. I honestly think splitting up's an awful idea, but you're a doctor, so I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to start heading left, and I guess checking out the rooms over in that way.
Okay. You can roll perception.
All right, something I'm really bad at. Let's see. That's an at 20. Wow. All right. Good thing. Add 0 to it because I have 0 wisdom.
You creep open the first door on the left, and you see that it leads to another corridor and another set of stairs. And then it's got some lights in there, but you don't bother with that quite yet. You go to the second door, creak it open, and there's a statue of a large statue of a horse and a knight on top. And then opposite of that is another mausoleum, which is it's got an inscription on it, but you can't really make it out from here. Other than that, that's pretty much all you find.
I'll holler down to the other two, like, oh, there seems to be some writing over here. I think I found it already. I'm pretty good at this thing.
Lincoln will come to you.
I will also kind of jog over.
You guys are terrible at splitting up.
Yeah,
Well, he already
do that.
found something.
Yeah, he said he found something interesting.
It's just a name.
I have-
It's just a name on this monument or a mausoleum, and it says what does it say? It says Lanchester.
His buddy from the note, right?
Nope, just some random name. You don't know him, but
Oh, so it's not the same name. I got you. Okay.
The mausoleum. I'm gonna say it's unlocked.
Oh, was Lannister on the mausoleum or on the statue?
I'm sorry?
Was the name on the mausoleum?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would open the door then.
Okay. You go inside and you see a lot of dust, very musty. There's not a terrible smell because this guy is sealed up in his coffin, but you do see some what look like respects paid, but they're as old as as old as all get out. This bag is like who knows how many hundreds of years old, and when you open it, it's got some gold pieces inside, and let's say it has 80 gold pieces and a tourmaline gem, which I'm generating treasure randomly here. I'll post that in the chat.
Neat.
I'm doing this a little bit Diablo style. It's just random shit and laying in the tombs for no reason.
That's okay. I only spent half my life obsessed with those games.
Let's say that. All right. Yep. This is you found some treasure, but this is not the not what you're looking for.
I would probably close the bag up and put it like back at the back on the coffin.
Okay. You're not gonna take.
Wherever, and
You're not gonna take anything.
I wouldn't.
All right. Then you have the other side of the corridor to explore.
The night, right? Or the other side.
Yeah. It's the night you can see is another tomb, but it's sealed up pretty good. This knight's a big heavy boy. So
Yeah, no inscriptions or any
it's got a
no
name.
warnings.
It's got a name written on there, but not like you're looking for.
You know, like looking for. Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and go to the other side then.
As you're walking through the corridor, you notice that first gate. There's the noise of drizzling water, and there's a stream of water on the floor, and it looks like this thing hasn't been opened in ages, and you can even tell from far away that it looks pretty rusted shut. There's a couple mausoleums. Again, you don't notice any warnings or inscriptions.
So at this point, we've got the big gate,
Mm-hmm.
and then we've got the rusted door that hasn't been open in a long time.
Yeah. I'll say you creak open this other bottom door. You find that it looks like there was something there at one point, but it has either been moved or destroyed or looted, or somebody's been in there and trifled with it.
Yeah. So with this rusted door, is there anything? Does it seem openable from this? Like, is there a latch on this side? Does it seem can it be accessed in any way?
There are, but it's a bigger, heavier gate than anything else in this room. And then the other gate, so that one you can see, the big gate you can see leads to more mausoleums and things on the inside. The smaller gate, you do notice there's a weird table beyond with another tower that's different than all the other mausoleums in here.
I'll call the other two over there. So this seems a little bit out of place down here. Maybe a good place to investigate.
I will examine the area.
Okay.
Do you want me to roll perception or?
We'll do an investigation.
Okay. Oh, sweet! I got an 18.
You peer through the bars of this gate, and you can make out a lot of text on this. It's a weird sort of. It's like a counter, almost like a sacrificial table or something, but it's decorative, and it's got like a kind of a decorative stone book on it on top, open, and then it's got all these vines growing up on the side, cracked through the floor of the catacombs, and it's strange. It's in a strange place because it's really intrusive. It's blocking the way to this tower behind it, and you could easily climb over it, but it's odd that they would put it here where people can't just walk around it. And then the gate itself appears to be locked, but it's not as old or ancient as the other one, and it doesn't have the water problem, so it does look like it would open if you could, get past it. But none of the other doors down here are locked, aside from the one that's all rusted shut. But this one is definitely been bolted.
I don't have like lock picking or anything like that. Is that a thing in 5e?
Sure is.
There's like lockpicking kits proficient,
Oh.
but there's not like a skill for it. Normally, it's just sleight of hand.
There are door
Oh,
spells and
okay.
things as well.
Well, I didn't take that.
What would you guys like to do?
Well, I want to get that door open.
I'll say there's. I'll say there's
I
a.
was gonna say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'll say there's a chain lock on it.
Shane.
So I could try to break it?
You can certainly try.
Sure, I'll try. Why not?
How are you going to do that?
I could just try to hit it with my sword.
Okay. Roll an attack, I guess. I'll say the DC is a 12.
It's what?
A 12?
Oh. I got a 10.
Seeing that it doesn't just break with like getting hit with a like sword strike, I'll walk over to it and be like, I'm going to try something. I don't know if it'll work, but worth a go anyway, right? And I'll pick the actual lock of it up, and I'm gonna cast catapult on it, which sends it it sends it 90 feet somewhere, and if it runs into anything, which I would assume be the chain, they both make dex saving throws.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's do this.
Let's wake the entire thing. Zombie horde.
All right, so you have the others stand back, and they stand to each side of the cage, and you cast your spell, and the lock and the chain start to move a little bit. And does a 15 beat your is a save?
My dex save is
It should be your spell save DC.
it's 13.
Your spell DC?
Yeah.
Next one is a 10. So the lock itself remains intact, but the chain snaps at one of its links, and the whole contraption goes flying across the hallway and smashes into this, it flies through the open door you already opened, and it clanks across the ground and clatters into this rubble of the desecrated grave. And the door is free to open.
Da 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 da.
Can you please play that on your like your
I'd have to find it.
ocarina?
I have the ocarina. I have the ocarina up.
Every time you guys make a success, Lincoln plays on his ocarina. Doo-doo-doo-doo. So you guys open the gate, and it's super loud and creaky in this echoey corridor. But you go in and approach this counter, and sure enough, to no one's surprise, this stone book on this table is inscribed in a number of different languages. It's been chiseled in there like inscriptions on a grave would be, and I don't think it's necessary to read what it says, since you already know that it's a warning, and you guys are just going to have to decide if you heed it or not. Basically says, keep the fuck out.
So say, like, don't go past this point.
Pretty much. It's clearly blocking the hallway, and you basically can't get into this area without seeing it and reading it, so.
Yeah.
Is there anything else around the area?
Well, I mean, there are sconces and things that aren't lit, but they are probably lightable, and you see, of course, beyond it is that tower, but otherwise, it's just these two things in here.
I'll use my prestidigitation to light all of them.
Awesome. The whole place
Look at
lights
the
up.
chest. I'm just kidding.
The whole place lights up and starts having this weird wizardry-looking tower cast in shadows, and beyond it, with a light, you notice that there's another opening, another doorway with a set of stairs that leads to somewhere. And this tower it's not super tall. It's probably 10 feet up to its entrance, and then there's a little staircase running around, and there's no door on it. It's just an open doorway at this tower.
through it, but I don't want to go through it.
You know what spell I didn't take was detect magic, so there's nothing I can do there. So there's a tower, and then there's a passageway beyond that.
Correct.
I'm going to do this one more time.
Going
Divine
downstairs.
sense. Is there any celestial fiends or undead within 60 feet of where I am at the moment?
Nope. Well, yeah, not undead. There's a lot of dead bodies around.
Yeah. They'd have to be like alive and moving. Okay, just making sure this room is clear. What do you guys want to do? Clearly we came here to do a thing, but I do want to look at that tower. There's no dead around, or undead, by the way.
Well,
You were the right
I
guy
believe-
to take on this mission.
Could I look for traps?
Yep. I mean, I don't know if you have any special skills for it, but you're welcome to just, at the very least, do an investigation.
Yeah, I don't have special skills.
Okay.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I got a 20.
Nice. You examine the tiles on this floor. You look at the bricks. My voice is cutting it out. You look at the bricks
Yeah, it
along
is.
the wall, and you check out the steps of this tower. You look, you try to jump up and down to see inside the windows. And you even check out the staircase beyond before you really start walking back there. And and you also you kind of pick up a piece of broken brick off the floor and throw it in there, and it clatters across the floor. Nothing trips, nothing activates. As best you can tell, this room is sound.
Okay.
Well, it seems that for our quest, we're supposed to go this way. Mr. Phineas did say find the warning and continue that way. However, if you'd like to explore the rest of this catacomb before we head on, I wouldn't be opposed.
Psh, there's probably a room full of health potions, but we don't need that.
If there aren't rupees, Lincoln's not interested.
Lincoln is going to start walking down the hall.
Okay. So you guys... Oh, that was Chris. You guys climb over this counter of this stone book, and you make your way towards the ominous-looking tower. What do you want to do when you arrive at the tower?
Examine it.
Okay, you already did a roll. I'll just go off of that. You walk around this tower in the back of it, and you see the stairs go up into this doorway in the back, and you can kind of peer in without even walking up the stairs, since it's not that tall. You kind of give a hop and look inside, and you see there's another... It looks like another coffin of sorts, but it's stone, it's ornate, it's got some different kind of marble on it, and it looks like this thing was expensive.
From where we are, can we see the name on it?
I missed what was
Oh,
said.
from where we are, can we see the name on this on the grave? Or the
Not
tomb
quite.
on it?
All you can see is it's sticking up above the staircase from your perspective, so if there's anything inscribed on top, you're unable to see it from here.
Ooh, I'm just really tempted to look at it, but I know how these things can go. I guess I'm just going to start walking towards it and see if anyone stops me.
60 feet of you,
Yeah, there's nothing undead, so I guess just checked around. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna go up there. I just want to see the name on it.
Okay. So you start walking up this spiral staircase to get from the front to the back to this doorway, and it's old wood, but it's really it was well built, so it just creaks and kind of groans under your weight, but it's not rickety. And you spiral around to the back and start to peer. Your vision starts to peer in through this doorway, and this thing is even more beautiful from close up than it was from far away. And as you enter into this room, like a Rapunzel's tower sort of room, you do see an inscription on the cover, and it says, bum, 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 Codsworth Lachester.
Okay, yeah.
God
I'll,
rest his soul.
Yeah, he's fucking dead. All right, I'll kind of point back to the other group. I'm like, this is Codsworth. It is he kind of ominous in the journal, talking about what he has to do, or this guy's dead. He killed this guy. He's up here.
He's kind of isolated in this tower, and the tower is ornate for its time. But there are, like the other one where you had some dead wilted flowers, and everything's old and decayed with some gold and stuff. He's just in here by himself. Like, you don't get the impression that family visits very often.
Yeah. Like, poor guy. Well, I guess we're going to head down that hallway just to let you know, put a big X on the map. Codsworth is right here.
All right.
And I'll head back down.
So this tunnel is dark and imposing, and you can't quite see to the end of it. Do you guys have any lights or anything, or dark vision?
I have dark vision.
I have a torch in my backpack.
Okay. Do you want to light it?
Sure. I can just light that with prestidigitation.
Okay. Up the torch goes, and Richland could already see. The staircase goes down about 30 feet, and then there's a wall. It's made out of just, like, crude stones that are just kind of masoned together. It's really, they did a poor job too. It's worn and weathered, and beyond it, if you, when I assume you guys go down the stairs, you can kind of hear some running water.
So, I guess I'll look at the dock. What's the plan?
I'll be like sitting there with like one hand on my chin, kind of rubbing it, tapping my foot. Well, I'm no expert on adventuring, but from what I've read, generally this would be where there's a trap door of some. However, if you compare this sort of mortaring, which is fairly sloppy compared to the rest of what we've seen, which has been upkept fairly nicely, this may just be a fake wall. We may just break it down.
Hey, music boy, you want to kick this wall down?
Music boy.
Is he supposed to just play music and make it fall?
Being the giant, heavily armored, muscular dude in front of you, just asking the small guy to knock things down.
Like, let me just make a bomb chew.
I said, all right. And I'll guess I go ahead and can I try to just like try to kick the wall and see what I can get
Sure.
to happen?
Roll me a strength check, and we'll set the DC at 15, and someone else is welcome to aid you if you want to do it together.
Yeah, does anyone want to help me out?
Nope.
I'll try and help. Sure.
Okay,
All right.
athletics.
Well, 12 plus 7, 19.
So, you guys get ready to smash this wall, and you're gonna use your legs to kick at it, and you go 1, 2, and suddenly on 2, Lucas jumps and lunges at this thing and gives it a mighty kick, and it doesn't all come toppling down or anything like that, but his foot does go through it about 3 feet up in the air, and then it kind of gets caught inside, and he's like, whoa, trying to catch his balance as his leg is stuck through this wall. And it's not like There's not a lot of light pouring through, but you do see some illumination come from within.
All right. I'm like, you guys, great job. Keep it up. I'm your biggest fans. And I'll just pull my leg out and I'll just like start pushing the rest of it over.
So cautiously, you start widening and widening this hole that you made, chipping away at it, until within, this is what you see.
Ooh.
Somebody roll me an insight check.
Ooh, that should not be me.
I can do.
Oh, I got a 17.
I also got a 17.
So you guys
These.
are peering through this hole into this really bad smelling sewer, and you kind of get the feeling, based on the rough work of this stone wall, the fact that it was just right at the end of a staircase, you kind of get the feeling that when they built Torrington and they created the sewer system, they just kind of plowed right through these catacomb halls and sealed everything up. So I'm sorry, who was in charge of the journal? Eric?
Yeah, I am.
Being that you've encountered a new spot, you try to see what else this guy wrote, and this is what you see. Descending into these tunnels takes me back to my 2 years in the dwarfish mines. I've never liked the dark, despite how often my research leads me into it. I would hope this deepness would ward curious adventurers, but I know my own heart too well. It will beckon them forth. I do not take pleasure in the measures I must take to protect this from the hands of others. Wise men heed warnings. Only fools, such as myself, are tantalized by them. Should men decide to pursue that which they were warned not to, it will be their own undoing. Their blood is not on my hands. And then you guys see these symbols. What languages do you guys know?
I can know any language
Oh, really?
because I can cast a spell to know it.
You are OP. Roll me a new class.
I'm not.
Well, before
Comprehend languages is a spell, and it's a low-level spell.
It's all good.
Before
I also
you
have
waste
that.
before you waste a spell slot, I speak Common, Dwarven, and Draconic.
Yeah,
Okay.
I speak Common and Sylvan.
I speak Common and Elvish, and I believe also Celestial.
So,
Ooh.
Doc Butt Stuffins, you read them this page, and then you point out these three symbols on the page, and Gumby,
Yeah.
you recognize those as the first 3 letters of the Draconic alphabet.
Ooh.
You guys, now that you're in this sewer, you guys should roll me perceptions.
All right.
Yes.
10.
19.
All right.
Perception puts me at 11.
As you're looking at these symbols, Lincoln, you start kind of gazing around this place. You all notice that this is obviously the sewer system, and there's a bridge going across this yucky water to this kind of grate on the other side, and that the opposite side of this tunnel, because you guys are on the south side looking upward, looking north, it's just this rock, almost like they just dug right through the ground and didn't even bother to seal it up. But while you're looking around, Lincoln, you notice the first letter of this Draconic alphabet carved into the back wall that you guys are next to. And it's not even very discreet. It's really like carved in there good.
I'm gonna use my prestidigitation to kind of make it sparkle so everyone else notices.
You know, I wondered how you were going to play this game without being able to talk, and you do a pretty good job at it.
I planned it all out. You have no idea. I have ways I'm going to cast my spells too.
Now, it's just 3 lines, so it could be anything, but you guys are pretty sure that it was done with chisel and hammer, so it looks pretty carved. It's like at the bottom of the staircase you just went down.
All right, and it was the first one, and it matches. Are there any? Is there any relevance to the letters in Draconic or?
It's basically just ABC. It's essentially, as far as you guys can guess, it's probably like a 1, 2, 3 type of a thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, yeah, I'll tell them. Like it's Draconic. This is the first letter. Maybe we should start over there.
Seems as good a plan as any, my friend.
So where are you going?
I'm gonna head towards the first the A that
So
got lit up.
The A that got lit up is actually at the bottom of the staircase that you guys just broke through the wall. And
Okay.
as you were looking around, Lincoln happened to notice it. And so you're pretty much right next to it.
Yeah.
So then there should be a B close by.
If that's the conclusion you come to.
Let's say it one more time.
Yeah.
If that's the conclusion you guys come to.
Yeah. Also, I'm looking around for the B.
Okay. Roll a perception.
Oh, you gotta stop asking me to do that.
Or, I mean, you can do investigation if
No.
you want, but
Nope, it's an @1. Either way, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. I got a 11.
I got 15.
so Lucas walks in and at first he starts to look for the symbol, and then he looks down and he sees this skeleton of like a rat or something on the floor, but it's unusually large, and then he starts looking at the water and it's green and it's gross, and he starts thinking, this is like what you guys live above every day. Like, this stuff's nasty.
And starts contemplating his life.
But Richland, you start scanning the area, and the only thing that really stands out to you is that grate coming in through the back wall across on the other side of the bridge.
Does that grate look kind of like the rest of the grates that we passed in the Catacombs?
It is similar, yes. It's like the type of metal, the design of it.
It doesn't look like it was just slapped on there like the like that mortared wall that we passed.
No, and it's not a gate like you could pass through with the other ones, but it is the same type of metal work, and it is it's large. I'll say it's large enough that a normal person could easily crawl through if it wasn't there blocking the way.
I guess that gets pointed out.
Okay.
Yeah. I would be standing there, kind of doing that same thing where I'm like tapping my foot and stroking my chin a little. And lads, this seems to be the same sort as the rest of the metalwork we've passed through. I feel like this might be our best shot, but I don't know how we'll open it or get through it.
Are you gonna go over there?
Yeah, I would go over there.
Well,
Okay. So you guys start making your way across this bridge, and it does seem to be structurally sound since it's not as old as the other catacombs, but it's kind of slippery with like moss and gross stuff. But you guys have no problem crossing it. You get to the grate, and just like I said, it does look about as old as the old catacomb grates, except it was I'll say it's in this rock wall kind of because of how old it is, the I don't know what you'd call it, the masonry or the molding or whatever that was around the gate that sealed it to this rock wall has worn away with the water and the just time and decay. And it's
We could maybe pull it open.
Yeah, it's pretty rusted, just like the old gate was.
Before I just go ahead and just try to pull this thing open, is that other letter around here?
Eric or Richland, you rolled the highest perception. So you start examining this grate and its surroundings, and you do notice the carving in this rock wall has the letter Draconic B. This one is much, much harder to find than the other one was because it's been chiseled away and worn by just time and weather and probably when they dug through here.
All right. Well,
Okay.
assuming we're going the right way, I'll just go ahead and try to break this this mortar off and pull this grate off of this little entrance here.
Roll a strength check. Somebody roll a strength check.
Yeah. That is 16 plus 7, so 23.
Oh yeah. One-handed even. You like reach in and just take this grate by the bars and give it a solid yank, and it goes clunk, and the whole thing just snaps free of it. Whatever was binding it to those rocks, just the rusted old sealant is torn off, and you kind of toss it aside with a clank. And like I said, this tunnel is about big enough for a man. If you shine your torch in there, or if you look in with dark vision, you can see that it goes in just a little ways. And then from what you can tell, it opens up on the inside.
I'll point and I'm like, all right, the big, strong one should go first. So, you gents.
As you guys are debating who's going first, suddenly a very large rat squeaks and kind of slides out like a slip and slide from this great opening, and then goes spilling into the river beyond.
And then I'll get down and I'll go first.
Okay. It's a tight squeeze for you.
Mm-hmm.
You start to go in, and it's probably a 15-foot crawl. Roll a Constitution check.
Constitution.
Or a Constitution save.
Safe? All right. It's the same thing. 6.
You start to crawl through this thing on your belly, and you barely have wiggle room, and it narrows just enough inside that you kind of wonder, like, are you gonna get stuck? You're gonna be in this sewer forever and turn into a skeleton? But you grit your teeth and you press on through, and probably sweating, you make it through the other side, and your shirt is just covered in like dirty water and stuff.
Yeah, fun times. That's why I got to go first.
Being that the others are smaller than you, they won't have a lot of difficulty getting through, and when you punch through the other side, this is what you see.
All right.
So
We're coming from the south side?
you're coming in from the south, yes, just like before. And once you're all inside, Eric, do you want to look at the next page, I assume?
Yes, but real quick, that first thing, like directly north of us, what is that?
So you guys, the first things that you see, you get through this thing, you go down the staircase in this open room, and you find this kind of entry way with 4 directions going from it. And in the middle is a big metal and wooden wheel that's horizontal, so it looks like it turned, like people would walk around it, cranking it. And then to its side, on the right, is a lever that goes to and fro.
Okay, that's when I would look at the next page then.
Okay. This should be the final step of my journey, yet I suspect there will be more still. I will slumber for a time, but that time will stir men's hearts, and their inevitable greed will lead them to my awakening. There are no traps, mechanisms, spells, or creatures willing or able to protect this evil better than my own self. However, I shall not do this alone. I've recruited others from within these catacombs. They will aid me as fellow guardians. I pity the adventurers so bold as to ignore sound reason.
That sounds safe.
Looking at this journal page, the wheel and the lever there on the first drawings are pretty identical to the ones you see before you.
After I read that, I get the willies and I cast the blade ward on myself. And then
Is that blade spinning around you, right?
it's I get I trace the sigil in the air, and then I get resistance against like the basic forms of damage, bludgeoning,
Cool.
piercing.
Neat.
What would you guys like to do?
I'm trying to decide whether Lincoln wants to investigate the middle of the room or investigate the things surrounding the room.
Yeah, looking at the picture that we have, like when we walk to the center of the room near the wheel, can we see the other doors, and are they all closed? I'm assuming, or for what we can see.
All the doors are closed. You can see them all pretty clearly from where you are because they're all pretty much at the entrances of each tunnel. The lever is currently straight in the middle.
I have so many feels about this room.
This place,
I want to do so many things to make things happen.
this place is gloomier and mustier than any place you've been to so far. This place looks like it hasn't been touched in centuries and centuries and centuries.
I can spend hours in here prestidigitizing it clean.
So, fun trick here. I'm gonna stand in the middle and do that divine sense. I can do it 2 more times for the day.
Okay.
So, 60 feet, undead celestial fiends, and I can also tell if something's been desecrated or consecrated.
So tell me what consecrated means.
You tell me.
Okay.
Like blessed would be consecrated.
Gotcha.
Like if a priest or something blessed it.
I'll tell you, you're not getting the very best vibe from the northeast.
Which kind of vibe was that?
It's not super strong from where you're standing, but you're sensing some necromantic magics.
Yeah, so some undead kind of magic probably then. From northeast. I'll tell them that. Yeah, I've got some bad mojo from that direction, right over there. Just a heads up. Is there any way to determine, because we did come down here to look for this guy's tomb, right?
Well, the Phineas mentioned that he thinks the guy had himself buried down here, and he thinks that he had been wealthy, but that's about as much as he knew. This journal does have this picture of a coffin on it with no context.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at and thinking. But he wanted us to come down here to go through these.
He wants you to retrieve a scroll to him, and he's hoping the journal will lead you to it. And he said, if you find anything along the way, you're welcome to it.
I got you. So we're assuming we follow these clues and they take us to the scroll. Okay, just double checking.
And these gates, all of these gates are, big like the very first one you saw that was rusted. They're like big, big gates.
Yeah. Probably can't punch through those, right?
Most likely not.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'll just tell the other guys, that there's some bad stuff to the northeast. This whole place give me a bad vibe. That's probably where we're going to be headed.
Lincoln's going to walk towards the middle of the center room and start investigating the lever and things like that and the mechanism.
Okay. I guess roll a check.
Oh, yay! 18.
Cool. So you first take a look at them. You're kind of walking around staring at these things. And then you look down inside where this lever is, and you see some gears down below. And there isn't really anything you can do other than mess with them and see what happens. But you do so cautiously, so you give the lever kind of a pull, and you wiggled it, and you can kind of feel that it's almost like a stick shift. Not that you know what that is, but that in terms of players, that's kind of what it feels like you're switching a transmission back and forth.
Gonna pop the clutch first.
Yep. And then this wheel, you give it a push, and it starts to move without too much difficulty. But then when you let go, it kind of goes back to where it was, back to its place. And it's pretty heavy. And looking around, you can't see anything you don't see any sort of locking mechanism.
Well, what are you guys thinking here?
Can we change the direction of the lever?
Okay. So you give this lever a tug, which, I guess, pick left or right.
Right.
You push this lever to its far side, and it goes, and you hear some echoes as this sound resonates through the tunnels.
Now I turn the wheel.
You begin cranking the wheel. The wheel's only going to go one way, and as you crank and you crank and you crank, you see both doors on the east side start to open. And then the only issue is when you stop cranking and you kind of let the wheel go, it wants to go back and the doors want to close.
I'll pull the lever once the gates are pretty far up.
Okay, you go to switch this lever, and you strain at it and you pull at it, but it's not budging.
How quickly are the doors closing whenever we...
The fall of gravity, basically.
Okay, so just straight down.
So if someone stands here and holds it, Lincoln stands there and holds the damn wheel so the doors don't fall.
The longer you stand there holding it, the longer the doors stay open.
And you can't get the lever to move back, even to the middle or anything.
When he does this, he goes, kind of alert everyone that something happened.
Lucas, each time that you try to pull this lever back, Lincoln feels the wheel tugging back to its original spot. It's pulling the wrong direction.
I gotcha. I was just trying to figure out how to lock it. All right.
So you guys see there are 4 lamp posts sort of things on either corner. There's some gates nearby. There's some sconces.
I'm going to kind of shoo Lincoln off and saying I'll hold this while you guys figure out what to do here.
Can I tie a rope from one of the spokes on the wheel to the opposite side of the lever? Is that going to be fairly close together?
They're only about 7 or 8 feet apart from each other.
Okay, yeah. So,
sorry.
well, I want to tie it so that if the wheel starts to like unturn from where we have it, it would be pulling the lever the opposite direction. Like it would be pulling the lever to the left,
Okay.
if that's possible.
So you pull out your rope. How long is your rope?
It's 50 feet of rope. I
Nice.
could cut it shorter if I need to.
Would you like to do that?
Not right now. I would probably tie it off so that it's like taut, and then once it is, I would cut the rest of it off.
Gotcha. So you start tying this rope in various knots and around one of the pushy turny things, the spokes or whatever you want to call them, and you tie off the other end to this lever that won't seem to budge, and you let go slowly, and the wheel starts to groan, and then the rope pulls taut, and everything is
And it
still.
stops.
Nothing moves.
Is there anything really heavy in the room we're in?
Is there anything what?
Really heavy.
Well, not in this area that you can see.
I think I would suggest like, we should maybe tie maybe a couple more ropes, and then I'm gonna take. Is there a way for me to take the javelin and stick it into the wheel and like into the ground, so like if it was to let go, it would still be wedged?
This ground is super old and worn out. So there is like seams between the tiles where it's just dirt. So if you wanted, you could try to stick your javelin, wedge it in there between the spokes and just wedge it into that between the tiles.
You need an immovable rod.
Yeah, no, that would be nice. So what I'll do, just to be extra careful, I'm gonna take 5 javelins and do it around the entire thing so that it would be wedged and not move 5 different ways, as well as the ropes that we have tied up.
So you guys like BDSM the shit out of this thing. It is bound and gagged, and it is not moving anywhere.
Safety first. All right,
The
guys.
word is listen.
So I would be like, all right, well, I think this is the way, I guess start motioning towards the northeastern side.
Okay.
Lincoln
See-
is going to follow pretty closely behind.
Okay. You guys walk east down this corridor. As you pass the first open gate, you can see that it's another empty tomb that looks like it's been desecrated. There's some space around the corner you can't quite make out. And then if you pass that and go to the end of the corridor, you see another flight of stairs, and it leads to this large wooden door that's kind of in a spiky arch. And it's probably the most ominous looking door you've seen so far.
Lincoln is going to... Oh, man. I want to do something, but I'm hoping it'll last long enough.
What do you
By
think?
the way, does the door seem, is it just a door, or does it seem like a big bar is over? Does it seem locked, or is it just a door?
You don't see any locks.
Okay, just ominous as fuck.
It does have, it has like a key lock, but there's no like bars over it or anything that you can tell, no chains.
Who's the first one in the door?
So I believe Lucas was going first.
I mean, yeah, I'm assuming I'm up front, yeah.
Okay. Lincoln is going to touch you and play a song. And you're going to be immune to being frightened, and you gain 6 temporary hit points.
Suddenly, our
Alright.
And-
Twitch gets taken down for Nintendo sounds.
If only Reggie hadn't retired.
All right, so 6 temporary hit points and can't be frightened.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. All right, I guess, can I try to open the door just to see if it'll open?
So you make your way down these steps, the oldest steps that you've seen so far. They're so broken and the stone is so chipped, but you make your way towards this ominous door and you give it a push. And at first, it's pretty solid. It doesn't move, but then you kind of butt up against it, and it cracks open for a second and then starts to swing on its hinges. You want to just open it right up?
I guess we'll be peeking a little bit first.
Okay. You peer through the crack in this door, and inside you can see probably one of the most decorative and beautiful mausoleums that you've ever seen. It's got this emerald roof, and it's got these marble pillars, and it's surprisingly large for this tunnel, but the ceiling of this cave way down here is pretty high up. And it's so out of place because this beautiful ornate tunnel that's been constructed down here is just in this like old brick and rock walled in cave down in the middle of nowhere where no one ever goes. And then to the east side of it, you can make out a dark tunnel going into the earth. Just no stonework, no bricks, just right into the earth like some creature had dug it out or something.
How big is that tunnel?
It is big enough for you to walk through. It's probably like, we'll say 7 by 7.
Okay, so pretty big. All right, I guess I will just kind of walk my way through, not knowing how long this blessing's going to last. Just like push my way through.
Where are you
lasts a
headed?
whole minute.
Oh, are you headed to the mausoleum, to the cave? Where you want to go?
Yeah, I'm just in the main room. Yeah, and I guess I'll go check. I'm going to go look at the mausoleum first.
Okay. You step inside the opening of this mausoleum. It does have a door, but you have no problem kind of cracking it open and looking inside. And it's just as beautiful inside as it is outside, but it's also very barren in terms of, just like before, like no one's been here. No one's ever touched it probably since whoever was in here is buried. And it's got these 2 wings on it, like sticking out, and they have their own doors. And in the center of this circular mausoleum, you see another coffin that's super ornate, and it looks exactly like the drawing in your journal.
All right, I'll kind of step forward. I'm going to have my giant, like ridiculously oversized Final Fantasy sword just out at the ready because I know that there's some weird stuff going around here.
How long
Hang
does
on.
that thing you cast last? Is it just once?
It's a whole minute.
Not yours. I mean his. I'm sorry. The
Oh.
necrotic thing?
Oh, it would have gone away. Like it's just like a one-time thing. I do have one more. I know it's in this area. I've got one left. I guess I'm going to go ahead and pop it real quick and see what shows up.
You sense some necrotic energy in this mausoleum, but you're getting a strong sense of it from that tunnel.
Okay.
I
So,
think
like,
you probably knew that.
yeah. It's like, I mean, we'll check out because this is where the map showed. But yeah, that tunnel's got some bad stuff in it.
But not from the mausoleum. Or was it just a little?
There is some energy in the mausoleum, this necrotic magic energy emanating, but the most strong sense he's getting is from that tunnel.
Okay.
So I guess I'll be like, all right, journal. What do we do now? We're here.
All right. You open the next, or I assume Richland opens the next page of this journal, and it's the last.
Yeah.
It's the last page of the entire book, actually, and this is what you see. I am
see a
always
demon page
watching.
staring back at me.
And then it's signed Reginald Roxy.
Huh.
I'm always watching it. And I guess that drawing is that just like a post? Like a signpost? Or is it like a key? Or
What you guys see is what your characters see, so it's up
Yeah.
to your characters what they make
Yeah,
out of it.
trying to figure out what that.
seems to be a signpost. A few torches.
Lincoln sees a training post.
All right. Do we want to? I guess I'll look at the two party members. Are we? Do you want to look in this? Did the coffin have his name on it?
You look at the inscription, and it is in common, and it does. It says Reginald Roxy on it.
Like, well, we came here to get a scroll. There's some bad stuff down that tunnel. You just want to go ahead and check this out? I'll let Richland. I kind of motion towards him.
Well, it doesn't seem that the scroll is here. Phineas did say that Roxy was probably buried with treasure, but that'll be available once we're coming out. Perhaps we should check the tunnel?
Well, it seems fine to me. We can come back. He just wants this scroll, so I just wanted to. I'm not going to desecrate a man's resting place. If you guys did, that's not on my hands. But we can come back later.
You can come back and desecrate it later.
Well, someone else is going to come back and desecrate it. I'm not going to. I'll be there.
If it's lawful good, he's probably not going to desecrate it.
So just so you know, there are two wings branching off of this mausoleum that you haven't opened their doors yet.
Okay. I guess I'll go open the door on the left side.
Okay. It's actually it's an unusually small door compared to the opening of this main one. It's probably only about 4.5 feet tall. It's like a little cabinet door almost, but it's ornate and stoneworked. But you creak it open, and this it opens up into this kind of hallway of sorts, and you see some chests inside. They're not huge, but they're probably the size of maybe like an old record player or something like that. Just kind of a standard pirate's treasure chest size.
All right, I'll point that out to them. It's like if anyone wants to desecrate this gravesite, I won't, but I won't stop you either. What's in the other door?
You crack open the other door and you see some really old worn bags. Kind of like you saw before, but these are more like purple velvety. They're decorative.
All right. Well, there's some stuff in here. Do you guys want to go through this stuff, or do you want to just head down this tunnel?
I think we should check it. It may be something that we'll need later on, and we can return it later if we so feel.
I guess I will look through the bags in the door on the right.
Okay. You open up the bags and you see they're not huge bags. They're probably like the size a man could wear on his belt, but they're full of gemstones.
Okay.
There's like 3 of them sitting there.
All right, so I'll make a mark of that. I'm not gonna just because I kind of want to see what's in here. You're not gonna carry it with me at the moment. So I guess what's in the pirate chest?
These locks are not nearly as solid as the lock on that gate before, so you're pretty able to break them open, especially since they're old. You crack open the chests, and there's some gold inside.
We got gold, we got gems. And I guess just real quick, is there anything in the coffin?
You want to open the coffin?
I mean, the one with the dude. Yeah, the one for Roxy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to, throw it open and just slam it on the ground. I just want to kind of see what's in there.
Okay.
Before he does that, I cast Blade Ward on myself again. Because I know he left a note somewhere saying, he would be... Where does it say that? I thought in the tunnel it said something about how, he recruited help and he would always be there or something.
if you...
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
I would ask you this: when I did the divine sense, was that necromancy from the coffin, or was it just in the area in general? Because if it was in the coffin, I wouldn't have done that.
Oh, gotcha. You could tell that the coffin was more lit up than the area around it.
Oh, nope, never mind. Leave that shit alone. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna just head outside and wait for them to see if they want to start heading down this tunnel. I'll make a note of what's in here so we can come back and collect loot later.
Cool. What do you guys want to do?
I want to go to the entrance of the tunnel, and I'll turn to the other two and go, well, just in case, I want to make sure that we're not followed. And I'm gonna start doing a ritual casting of alarm
Okay.
around the. So that'll take 10 minutes.
Okay.
But then for up to 8 hours, if anything goes past the point of the tunnel other than us three, I'll get a little mental ping of it.
All right, stick around, everybody. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. No, you start setting this alarm spell, and there's every once in a while you hear a squeak of probably a rat, or maybe a drip of water, or you hear the rushing of that river from beyond, and you guys wait around until suddenly Richland announces that his ritual is finished.
Okay.
Well, further into the deep, lads.
You lead the way. I'll be right behind you.
I follow closely.
I'll start heading in.
So you guys leave the crude but ornate workings of this stonework in this catacomb and enter into the dark, dirty, very natural-looking tunnel. And it kind of bends here and there a little bit. It's not super long, and it's not like you can see the other side, but you can tell in that darkness, and especially with your dark vision, you can tell that there's kind of a reddish glow coming from within. And as you guys make your way towards the end of this tunnel, the room opens up into this. You guys,
Not a gore pit.
you guys are starting from the southwest where that arrow is pointing in. That's the tunnel you're coming in from. And you can see pretty clearly once you open up into this room, there is some sort of, it looks like maybe like another mausoleum like you've seen before. Not quite as decorative, kind of just basic stone. And then there's this post in front of it. And it's pretty evident that it's exactly like the one drawn in your journal. And then all around this thing in the darkness, you can tell from the red glow that there are these tunnels surrounding it.
Reminds me of the butcher level in Diablo.
But is there sort of light in here? I guess the red glow, does it create enough light for us non-dark vision?
I have
Pretty much what you can see on the map is what your characters are able to see.
Okay.
And I guess I'll leave it up to you guys how you want to proceed.
I'm just gonna standing there looking at the other two.
If I look at the tunnels, could I make a survival check to see if I know what made them?
You can try.
I got a 21.
So you've seen in your travels animal
That's 21.
holes, like in your adventures around and on the farm and stuff. You've seen animal holes, and you've seen the way that they dig, and you've seen claw marks, and you're pretty experienced with how that works. This looks more like it was created by a man or a humanoid of some sort, like tools, shovels, and it's actually pretty astounding that they could dig this far down. I mean, the catacombs in general are astounding, but this room, you don't really know how they did it. Somehow they dug all this out and got the dirt out, and I'm gonna say, as you're examining it, you also get a little bit closer, and you can see that this mausoleum thing is sitting on top of almost like a floating island in a sense. It's like there's the red glow is emanating from these cracks all the way around this thing, and it's just kind of sitting on this pedestal of rock and dirt with this almost like a moat of red spooky cracks around it.
But it is all created by man. That's fucking bizarre. I think Lincoln's going to admire it for a moment before seeming kind of creeped out.
Well, let's see here. Creepy. I mean, at this point, we might as well move on. So I'm gonna slowly start making my way towards it as stealthily as I could.
Well, you can try and roll a stealth check.
Oh yeah, disadvantage. Fun times. All right. And I'm pretty sure I have nothing to add to it. Yep, straight stealth check disadvantage. Oh, that's not awful. 11? Not great, but
Yeah, that's not great. So you start creeping your way into this tunnel, and you do, with your stealth, you do manage to make it quite a ways in, and you can see clearly as you approach this thing the cracks that have this red glow. You feel a heat emanating from them as well, and as you're looking at this thing and thinking about that heat and looking at these cracks around this thing, suddenly something catches your eye. As the skull mounted on this post, the whole slots light up on its eyes. And that's all it is. It's just light coming from its eyes.
I'm going to raise my hand ever so slightly, and I'm going to shoot 2 Eldritch Blast at it and try to blow this thing up. This thing.
Okay. Roll your attack. Or is that how Eldritch Blast works, right?
Yeah, it's you rolled a hit. Hit range spell attack. That would be a 14 and a 19.
So you fire 2 Eldritch Blasts at this post, and I assume Eldritch Blast does make sound.
No, it doesn't say so. I mean, a little bit, I guess. It's just like you're shooting force out of your hand. So
Gotcha. Okay, well then there's not a great sound, but there is kind of almost like a wind or like a poof, and as energy emits from your hands and hits this post, and the noise from the post is just what you would expect from shooting a post. It splinters and the wood rips apart, and this skull with on the kind of plaque thing clatters across the ground, and the eyes go out, and then all is silent and all is still as far as you can tell.
I think I've solved it, guys. And I guess these guys are up with me, or did you guys stay back?
After you shot your blasts, I would have come.
Okay. I was like, all right, well, that wasn't maybe the quietest thing. I'm going to hang back here a little bit if you guys want to get closer, but I'll be right behind you.
You guys can see
you
guys can see the entrance to this mausoleum. And again, it's not very big. It's probably only 5 feet tall. The door of it, I mean. It looks like you might be able to go across one of these walkways sticking out of it. Otherwise, you'd have to hop this chasm thing around it, and it's not a big hop. It's like just a foot wide. It's not bad in some places.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah.
Can I cast it on more than one person at the same time?
I'd have to know what the spell says. Eric, do you know?
I believe you can only do it once as an action.
It says I can use a bonus action on my turn to choose one creature other than myself within 60 feet of me who can hear me. But it also says that I can cast this feature a number of times equal to my charisma modifier. So I wasn't sure if I could cast...
Well, we're not in initiative right now, so we're not really taking turns. So I don't, as long as you've got initiative or whatever you said, modifier for it, I don't see why you can't just cast it on as many as you have available.
Okay.
Yeah, because they last for 10 minutes, and if you're not in combat, you could just do it twice.
Yeah. All right, I was just checking. Because things are getting real spoopy and I wanted to give them inspiration.
So what do we get with that, by the way? We get a D8 to add to a roll?
Yeah, you get a... Let's see. Once in the next 10 minutes, the creature can roll the die and add the number rolled to one ability check, attack roll, or a saving throw that you make. So...
Okay.
It says also that the creature can wait until after it rolls the d20 before deciding to use it. So if you pass, you don't have to waste your inspiration.
Cool.
Yeah, so I will play a tune. Maybe. And now you both have inspiration.
I love your
All right.
character so much. So what's the... I'm sorry, what do they get? What's their bonus?
It's 1d8 to add to any roll
Awesome.
they make within the next 10 minutes.
All right.
Okay. All right. So are we just going to go ahead and head up there?
It's up to all y'all.
Because I'm ready to go if they are. I don't want to just go charging in, I'm not a barbarian or anything.
Before we do, I also want to cast False Life on myself.
Okay.
And that gives me 1d4 plus 4 temp health.
Cool.
Let me see if there's anything that lasts super long for me. No. Yep, I'm good to go now.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could cast it on you guys as well, but it self. But I will lead the way to the mausoleum, I suppose.
All right. So you start making your way towards this mausoleum, and you kind of finally reach the post that Lucas blasted into oblivion, and this heat is getting pretty hot now. You can feel it from the depths of the earth, and you start to approach probably the entrance of the mausoleum, and you can see the door. What do you want to do? I'm going to tell you, this place where the door is, it's going to be super easy for you to step over this this chasm, so you don't need to roll for that. You had to kind of climb down into this pit to get here, but the pit's only about 3 to 4 feet high, depending on where you're at. So, again, if you were a halfling, it might be a bit, but for you guys, it's fine.
Then I'm going to put one hand on the handle of the mausoleum.
Okay.
And I'm going to pull out 3 dice from my pocket and cast Magic Stone on them.
Wow, what's that do?
Basically, I can use it as a ranged spell attack to deal 1d4 damage if I throw the stones.
Cool, so you can do that 3 times?
Yes. I cast it on 3 stones at a time. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 1d6 plus spell modifier is the damage.
Hmm.
And I can throw them 60 feet. But then I'll look at the other two and kind of nod and start to open the door.
So you creak this door open, and you kind of duck down underneath the threshold to look inside, and you find a pedestal. And it's actually kind of Beauty and the Beastie, like you'd see in a museum. This pedestal's got a glass case over it, and then inside the glass case is a scroll just sitting there. It's tied with a red ribbon.
I'm gonna throw one of the stones at the glass case. So if if a 19 hits the glass case's armor class.
Oh yeah. So you throw this stone inside, and again, the silence of this spooky tunnel, this spooky cave, is broken as this glass goes and shatters, and the scroll is just laying there in the open. Everybody roll me perceptions.
All right. That one.
Ooh.
Perception.
2 on the dice puts me at 6.
I have a 15.
Okay. Robin, or Lincoln, tell me exactly where you're standing in this room.
I probably would have put myself in between the first person going in and the last.
Okay.
Wherever they're standing, I'm not going to be too far behind.
How about you, Lucas?
I would have been in the middle, like, I guess near the doorway, like right in the doorway.
Oh, okay. So in that case, Lincoln, you hear the sound of stone against stone grinding together. And it's coming from the direction that you just entered. It's coming from behind Lucas, and it's faint. But once that glass shatters and all is quiet, you hear it go. You hear the stone against stone.
Does it sound like it's getting closer?
It was just a brief moment. You heard it slide. Roll an insight.
Oh God. 11.
Your imagination is running wild, and you're just thinking of a lot of things that could have been, but one of the things is it could have been. It could have been the lid of a coffin.
Lincoln is terrified.
I need Lincoln to tell me what's going on.
Let's see. How would I convey that?
I'm just kidding. You don't have to.
What are you doing, Richland? Doc McStuffins? Butt Stuffins?
If I can't hear anything like coming towards us, I'm gonna walk forward and try and take the scroll.
All right. You duck under the door of this mausoleum, step inside, and you pick up the scroll.
I'm going to turn and face outward
Mm-hmm.
and hold my sword out.
Okay.
I am ready to die.
In that case, as you turn around, please roll me one more perception.
A 17?
You're looking kind of at Lucas, and you notice behind him in the tunnel you came from, you see that you had been casting all those, your prestidigitation stuff and lighting all the sconces and everything on your way. You can see a long shadow appear in the tunnel. And then from this glow, as you can kind of barely see inside these dark tunnels all around you, the ones in front of you, the one in front of you, you can see kind of a movement of silhouette in the darkness.
Brian, did I get any pings from my alarm spell?
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you were keeping track. What? Tell me about the ping. How does it alert you?
If anything crosses, it would be the entire, like, if it crosses through that tunnel entrance, it's a mental ping, just kind of a...
At the exact same time that Lincoln sees this long shadow appear in the doorway, that alarm goes off in your head.
Okay. Then, yeah, as soon as I grab it, I would probably turn around to the others, go, well, it seems we have some company, lads. Which I would assume Lincoln is already aware of, but...
Yeah, I'm hoping that the other party members saw me, like, turn around and ready my sword.
Lucas, I know you hate this, but why don't you roll me one more perception check?
All right. 17, even.
Beautiful. Lucas, you're facing the opposite direction that Lincoln's facing, so the entrance is behind you, and you're just looking at this whole cave with all these tunnels around it, and now you start to see movement from within the tunnels coming at you. Why don't you guys all roll me initiative?
All right.
Ah, fuck.
9.
1.
My initiative.
I have a -3 to Dex, I mean...
18.
Nice.
Don't forget you guys all have Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah, that 1d8. All right.
That lasts for a while, right? 10 minutes or something?
10 minutes.
Okay, we'll say you've probably been down here. You cast it when they entered?
I cast it when he broke the glass.
Oh, okay. That's going to be... So probably at like 9 minutes now, maybe. Gumby's taking a moment to step away, but I'm just fleshing some of these things out, so we'll start in just a sec. Gross.
It is. I had an ex who did that all the time.
And then he became your ex.
Yup. Special keyword. It was so gross.
True.
For a second, I thought that said ICP, and I'm probably still not wrong.
All
I
right.
mean, if he pees on stream, we might get donations.
I can't be on stream. I'm done. I'm here.
Oh, shit.
People pay to see that stuff.
All right. So,
All right. So, Richland, you see these silhouettes coming out of the caves, and Lincoln, you see the one from yours, and then you start to look around and see the others. I assume that Richland, having been pinged, he steps out of his mausoleum, or at least peers out of his mausoleum and looks around. You guys noticed in the red haze and the light, and especially with his dark vision, some of these silhouettes are lumbering. Some of these silhouettes are kind of see-through. You you gather that they are the silhouettes of skeletons, and this one that's coming in from the entrance is taller than the rest, and it's walking not like a normal man, not super jovial or anything like that, but not staggering around like the others either. He's kind of upright compared to the others, but he isn't super fast either. He's just kind of walking, and he's not saying anything. He kind of raises his hands up, and let's kick this off with Lincoln. What do you want to do?
Oh.
So you are, you got the big bad, and then you've got Richland, and then you've got you, and the closest from your cave, you'd probably assume it to be a zombie. The closest one to you is, we'll say 5, 10, 15, 20, about 25 feet. Maybe we'll say even 30.
I am going to cast True Strike on the big baddie.
Cool. The big baddie one. 10, 15.
And
He's probably 45 feet from you.
I think it's 3 feet. Let me check real fast because I don't want to lie.
All right.
By the way, how many are like in combat range? I suppose.
As far as that they can reach you, or what do you mean?
Oh,
It was just like how many are like coming in here? Like if we can see the silhouettes.
Let's say, so as from what you can see, there's one by the entrance plus the big bad.
Yeah.
There is, we'll say one in the northwest is a skeleton, one in the northeast is a skeleton, and then there's a second zombie in the southeast. So total of 4 undead plus the big bad.
Okay.
2 skeletons,
I-
2 zombies.
True Strike is 30 feet, so I'm going to cast it on the one that is closest to me.
All right. And what happens? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's all I'm going to do at this moment.
Okay. You're not going to move?
How close am I to everyone else? Are we still within like 10 or 15 feet of each other?
You're probably 20 feet from Lucas, and then 10, 15, 20, 25, probably 25 feet from Richland.
And Richland's the one that is closest farther towards the edge of the room.
Yeah, you have
Towards the big
you
bad
have
guy?
you have Richland sandwiched between you and the big bad.
Okay, I'm gonna move a little closer to him,
Mhm.
and then I'll wait.
Okay. Are you going to be like adjacent then, or move up 5
Yeah,
feet? Cool.
I want to be within touching range.
Gotcha. Okay, so you guys are right together. Next up, we have Lucas. What do you want to do?
All right. So, give me the idea of the best. So like where I'm in the doorway, right?
Kind of close to the doorway, not exactly.
Yeah. So they'll all have to come up to me to get to us, right?
The big bad
that
and the
what we're looking
zombie.
at?
The big bad and the zombie are approaching from the entrance area towards you. They're not far. 5, 10, 15, about 20 feet. And then there's 2 skeletons off in the distance, and there's a zombie to the east of you off in the distance.
Yeah. But like the way that I'm asked, like the way that it's situated, will they all have to come up like the same way that we came up, or their side stuff that they can get in? Just like I'm trying to like be in a choke point so like they can't get past me. See what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused.
Well, like because we had to step up onto the mausoleum, right?
Oh, Richland went to the mausoleum, but you guys stayed back, so you guys
We
aren't.
stayed back. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna stay where I am. I'm trying to get to where like my back is protected and like you know what I'm saying. Like if I have to hop up on the mausoleum or whatever, but I'm trying not to be able to get flanked. Is what I'm trying to do.
Gotcha.
And
The best you
go
could
ahead.
do in terms of how close aside from rosining to the mausoleum, the best you could do is probably just to butt yourself up against a wall. You'd have guys to the right and left and maybe in front of you, but not behind you.
Okay, that's what I want to do. So I will just whoever's the closest to me, I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon. It's going to take the shape of another gigantic sword. And you said there was people within 20 feet of me, right?
She's adjacent to you, and then the bad guys are the big bad and one zombie are about 20 feet from you.
Yeah, so I'm going to do at the zombie, because he's within 20 feet, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm going to do Spiritual Weapon, like, right above him, and then this giant, this giant sword made of, magic energy is going to come down on him.
Awesome.
All right, that'll be the hit. So that is plus a 6. That is a 14 to hit.
That does it.
Okay. And then I will. That is 7 points of force damage against him.
Okay.
And then I'm going to run up, like as I cast that spell and it comes down and damages. I'm going to just run and just go at these guys. I'm going to make one attack at the zombie that I just hit with my greatsword.
You can cast a spell and attack too.
Yeah, that's a bonus action spell.
Cool. Okay.
Spiritual
Make your attack.
weapons. All right. That is another 14 to hit.
Awesome.
And then I see this is where you said make a fun character design. This is fun. All right, so I got to roll 2d6s because it's a great sword. I got to re-roll 1s and 2s, but I got a 4 and a 6, so that's 10 plus 4, so that's 14 points of slashing damage.
So you cast your first attack, and this sword delivers a hearty blow to this zombie. And you see as he's staggering along mindlessly, and then he kind of leans forward as this thing hits him, and he kind of lurches back up, and he's flopping around a little bit on his two legs as he's trying to still walk towards you. And then you dash towards him, and you take a mighty swing and just slice this guy. And basically, you carve off his shoulder down to his hip. His whole left arm falls off, and he starts leaking blood. And this guy is not looking good at all. There's just gore and blood spewing out of this thing as he seems pretty dazed right now. He stops walking towards you, and he's just.
Is he still alive though, or like still up?
From what you can tell, he is hanging on by a thread.
All right, so as seeing this as I'm carving into him, I will use my Divine Smite and add some radiant damage. As the sword lights up, some radiant energy jumps through it. I'm going to add a little more damage to him. That is 3 points of radiant damage.
What does that look like?
Just the sword just shines super bright and like almost looks like it's super heated.
As you deliver this second blow and slice his arm off, you come in, you pull back for another swing, and your sword lights up with this light like the sun, and the whole room kind of illuminates, and you can kind of see all the skeletons and zombies much clearer now, until suddenly you swing it, and this whole zombie gets, like, the whole top of half of it goes flipping through the air and clatters to the ground with a dull thud and kind of squishy sounding, and then the legs just fall backwards, and he's just laying there in two pieces with a pool of blood below him.
So I'm assuming that one's dead. All right, so now for my next attack. And I'll just go, I guess the big boss was next to him?
Yep.
All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and take my second attack at the big boss. That is, I'm going to go ahead and use my Bardic Inspiration because I rolled a 5. It's a 5 plus 7, so that's a 12. I'll use this Bardic Inspiration to see what happens. And that's an 8, so 20.
Dang.
20?
This is
22?
This is bananas. You've done 4 attacks.
No, it's only 3 attacks.
You cast a spell, then you hit him with your sword, chopped his arm off, then you sliced him in half, and now you're doing.
Well, I hit him with the sword and then added radiant damage as I was hitting him. So this is technically only my 3rd attack.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
What did you do to this big bad?
I'm going at him with the greatsword, and I rolled a 22 to hit.
And just for future reference, does it say you can decide to add radiant after you've already taken the hit?
Well, yeah, there's Divine Smite. When you hit a creature with a melee attack, you can expend one spell slot to deal radiant damage to the target, in addition to the weapon's damage.
Cool. I was just checking.
It doesn't really say before or after, so I can not do that for now on because it doesn't really say, and I can see where you're coming from. But yeah, for this one, 22 to hit the big dude.
22 to hit. Let me check.
All right. God, I hope so.
You hit. What do you do for damage?
I'm gonna roll my 2d6s with my greatsword. I'm not gonna use Divine Smite this time. That is a 5 and a 1. I get to reroll 1s and 2s. So 5 and a 3. So 8 plus 4. So 12 points of slashing damage against
So
the big
broke.
bad.
I love it.
Yeah. Only reason I'm playing human because I could take 2 feats and just do some absolute nonsense. So, yep,
I love
there you go.
extra feet.
Cool.
12 points of slashing damage to the big bad. And that is it for my turn.
So after dealing with this zombie, you do a kind of a spin around and come in with your sword with this this big bad and deal a unhealthy slice right into his side. He lurches backwards. That brings us to him. Reginald Roxy. Let's see what he does.
Fight me, brethren.
Okay, here we go. Let me look this up real quick. I didn't know which adventure we were going, so I'm kind of working on the fly here.
Oh, just don't kill me, all right?
After you slice this zombie in half, and then you deal him a hearty blow, he staggers back, and then he raises his hands, and his both of his hands start to glow, and it's really weird because it's like an inverted glow. Like in the red light, you can see that they actually get darker, but it's kind of like a hazy darkness. It's like they're glowing, but it's not light. And then you hear scuffling from the southernmost cave, and you hear like rocks start to tumble a little bit and stuff like. And then that brings us to the skeletons. I'm just going to kind of have them go on their own. So the skeleton to the northwest is just going to move down. Let me see what he has real quick. Yeah, he's just going to move down his full 20 feet. So he's about at level with the top west cave. The next one's going to be at the top or middle west cave. Next we have the zombies. One is dead. another one appears. The one from the southernmost tomb, his silhouette appears, and then the one from the west side moves his full feet, which is 20 feet. So he's just gonna. I have him kind of mentally towards you guys. Richland, what do you want to do? You are in the mausoleum right now. Richland, why don't you roll me a perception check before you start your turn?
I would love to. Perception check. 7.
You're pretty distracted right now, but you can just for an instant, you can almost swear that you felt the ground shift beneath your feet. It was super subtle, but you felt something.
All right. And does that lead it to my turn then?
It's all yours, my dude.
X. Then I am going to chuck one of these magic stone dice at the big bad, and because he's within 60 feet, correct?
Let me check. He's about 50 feet from you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, then I'll just chuck this stone at him, and that is 23 to hit. And
You got him, for sure.
it boops him on the noggin for 4 damage. 9 damage. I'm sorry, 9 damage.
9. You know what? I like that description. You throw this magical rock and it flies through the air and it boops him on the noggin, and he staggers again and shakes his head, and he looks a little dazed. What do you want to do, Lincoln?
I cast a True Strike on the one zombie that was closest to me, so I'm going to try to attack it.
The one that was closest to you was sliced in half.
Oh, that was the one that was sliced in half?
There's a new one right at the very bottom of the map.
I don't have advantage on that one. I will still try to attack it, I guess.
Lucas got greedy.
15?
Now, what are you attacking with?
I have a long...
Oh, he's at the bottom of the map, like he is
Oh, okay.
coming out of that tunnel down there.
That's the closest to me?
There's a skeleton about equal distance up above you. So that's going to be, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20.
All right,
About 50 feet.
Then I'll put away my sword and I will pull out my bow and I will cast True Strike on the skeleton and end my turn.
All right. It's up to you, Lucas.
All right, we're gonna see if this works. Again, this is the whole reason I made this kind of character. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to bonus action cast Hex on the big bad guy in front of me. He's gonna have disadvantage on wisdom checks. So just keep that in mind. He has disadvantage on wisdom checks. Yeah. I'm going to spend one more spell slot. I'm going to go ahead and come down on him with the spiritual weapon that is above me at the moment. Let's see if that can.
Is that for his next turn, or how long does that last?
Hex is up for up to an hour, or if I lose concentration.
Cool. So what are you doing now?
I'm going to use my. Oh, never mind. I cannot use the spiritual weapon because that is a bonus action. So I will use my great sword. I'll pull that bad boy out, and I'm going to swing with it. Alrighty. That is a 26 to hit. which I'm assuming hits because of 22 hit.
Sorry, I didn't hear your number. It cut out.
My
But
bad. It was
yes,
26.
26 definitely hits.
26. Okay. My bad. Train's going. I'm gonna do my math. Give me a second. All right. Well, this is gonna be a lot of math. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and roll the damage for the actual sword, which is 8 plus 4, so that's 12, and then hex damage is a d6 of necrotic, so that's 4 necrotic, so 12 slashing, 4 necrotic, and I'm going to use Divine Smite with my last second level spell slot, which will do 3d8 radiant damage. And is he considered undead or a fiend?
He is considered undead.
All right, so it's 18 total damage. I'm going to add 4 d8s to it with the Divine Smite at second level.
Okay.
So let's add that stuff up and see what it does. So 8, 6, 4. So 18 and a 1. So 19 plus 18. What's that math?
Doesn't matter. I would like you to describe what all you did to this less than big bad.
Yeah, as I just come down on it, and the whole thing of the whole kind of paladin he is. He's a paladin of conquest, and his whole thing is about humiliating his opponents as he just comes down with a giant anime swing, his sword like completely just almost the color of pure light, as there's so much radiant energy in it. He just cuts him right in the middle of the head all the way down through the bottom of his body. And I guess like this body would just like explode out from the force of getting split.
Wow. Okay. You slice through this guy and split him in two, and then as you guys are looking around after he falls to his death, you look at your final opponent still standing, and they kind of stop for a second, and then it almost looks like they're buffering, and then they start to move again, but this time instead of moving in the directions they were moving, they're kind of roaming each to a different person. It looked like they were kind of laser focused before, but now they're just kind of picking people at random.
Okay. And again, this is ridiculous, so I just did that. Is there anybody within 30 feet of me?
So your partner Lincoln is, but as far as the zombie and the skeleton, they're about 50 feet.
Okay. I'm just going to let me run at the one to the south. I have got a second attack, but I don't have anything ranged or anything.
Yeah, don't
so
touch my skeleton.
No. And I'm gonna move my hex. I can move the hex to the new creature that I'm going after. So he's gonna be hexed. Disadvantage on wisdom saves and him, and I just can't use that second attack because I'm not in range. So that'll be it for my turn.
How far did you go?
I've 30 feet, so however close I can get.
Okay, so you're about 20 feet from the southern one. Next up is going to be the big bad. He's going to lie on the floor in a couple pieces. And then after that, I'm going to move the skeletons. So the skeleton... Okay, so northwestern skeleton is now 30 feet from you, Lincoln. And then the zombie from the northeast is going to move up 20 feet, and the zombie from the south is going to... Oh, yeah, the zombies are next. Let's see. Melee weapon. Okay, here we go. He's going to approach Lucas and take a swing at him.
All right.
Swing, swing.
Well, that's a 10.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna hit.
So he takes a swing at you, and you easily step to the side, and he misses completely. He's super mindless. What do you want to do, Richland? Richland, I'm not even going to have you roll a perception check. as soon as that zombie took a swing at this guy, you feel another lurch, and this time you can swear with certainty that the ground started to sink, almost like an elevator going down, just a bit at first, and then it slowly starts to move a bit more. What do you want to do?
I would like to be like, "Oop, seems we're going down."
You can tell. I'm again not going to make you roll for it. You can tell by looking out of this mausoleum that you're going down. You personally. This mausoleum seems to be sinking down into the earth where the red glowy cracks were.
Good a time as any to move, and I'm gonna try and run out onto solid land if I can. If I can get there.
It's just a simple step over the crack, and when you leave, you hear more cracks behind you as this thing grows. It picks up speed, and then the little outstretched pieces that are kind of crossing the gaps of this chasm break and crumble, and then this thing starts to descend down into the earth as you feel the heat grow hotter and the glow emanates even brighter in this chasm. And fortunately, you are okay. You're on dry land. You've probably moved, looks like 5 feet.
Okay. Then I would be like, I think we should start heading towards the exit while we while we fight these, if we can. And I'm gonna throw my last little die stone at the nearest skeleton or zombie, the nearest enemy.
Okay.
And that's 20 to hit.
That'll do it.
And
Do you want to attack Lucas's zombie or Robin's skeleton?
I would probably go for the zombie.
Okay.
If I've seen it be injured already. And that's 8 damage to it.
Nice. Okay.
And after I throw it, I scoop a few more dice out of my pocket and use my bonus action to cast Magic Stone on them again.
All right. So you throw this stone across the cave again, and it boops this zombie on the head, and he kind of shakes, and he seems dazzled again. And you're going to move towards the entrance. Is that what you said?
Yes.
What's let's see. Here's your movement 30s total.
Yeah.
So you're about almost adjacent to Lincoln now. All right, Lincoln, what do you want to do?
So is everyone trying to move out the door now that there's an opening?
It's
Is that what's going on?
It's completely up to you guys.
Yeah, I'm just fighting these things, but I would easily be persuaded to move with the group. But I'm just trying to kill these things.
I was just wondering if that was what both of you were trying to do.
Yeah, I'm already near one of the exits, so.
Okay. Then I'm going to fire at this skeleton with my bow. I got a 19.
That's a hit.
Yay! I'm really glad it is. I thought I was gonna roll terrible on that one. I was like, I would too. How does advantage work in 5e?
Gumby just said, I just picked up that Lincoln is a play on Link.
Yeah, I didn't get that until actually played. Advantage of 5e is you get to roll twice to hit. Then you take the higher.
I'm only gonna do it just in case I get a 20. No, I got a 5. Okay, so let's see. My bow. I didn't pull out any other dice.
Oh, you pulled a Wesley on us.
My bad. So that is 9 damage.
Awesome. 9 damage.
Well, I have a bag of like 200 next to me.
You said you shot him with an arrow?
Yes.
Okay, this was pretty impressive, being that skeletons are all just a frame of bones, but you are skilled enough that you aimed carefully and shot this arrow, and you managed to lodge it right inside its chest at the back, at the front of its spine, and it's surprisingly effective. It lurches back and staggers, and then it tries to regain its balance, and you see that I don't understand how physical damage on skeletons work, but for whatever reason, this thing's starting to hobble a little bit. Is that your whole turn?
The rest of the turn is backing out. I'm staying close to the other party members as they're backing out the doors.
Cool.
That's basically it. Is I'm gonna
What's your,
continue to fire and kind of bring up the rear.
Cool. What's your full movement?
30.
You have exactly enough to make it to the threshold of this tunnel to get out of here, so you could be well on your way out if you want to take your full movement. It would probably keep you from, like, there's only 2 zombies left and a skeleton in the far corner. You wouldn't be able to have line of sight for the ones that are close enough for you to hit. Well, how long did your bow shoot? What's your range?
It's just a short bow.
Does it list the range on there?
I'm sure it does. Let's see. Range is 80.
Oh, yeah. You'll easily be able to peg this one kitty corner across from you next time.
It says 80/320 feet.
Damn. Cool. Next up is Lucas. What do you want to do?
I was seeing that Lincoln is running away, or like moving, seeing what stuff's going. I'm gonna try to kill the dude in front of me, and then I'll make my way.
Sounds good to
So
me.
I'll guess go ahead and swing at this dude. Let's see. That is a 19 to hit.
That does it.
All right, and let's see. That is 10 plus 4, 14 plus 5 necrotic. So that is 19 points of damage on the first hit.
Oh, yeah. So you swing your first hit, and especially after he already got pegged by a rock, he's all distracted looking over at Richland, and then you come in with your sword and just slice his head clean off.
All right, cut the head off. I'll kick the body down, and I'll go ahead and I'll start running towards the exit. So I'll use the rest of my movement to go ahead and head over there.
30? Is that 30?
Yeah, I can use my 30, and I'll like start motioning towards Richland, like, come on, we need to go, and that'll be it for my turn.
All right. Skeleton moves up. Zombie moves up. What do you want to do, Richland?
Are any of the enemies within 5 feet of each other?
Nope.
Okay. Then I would just throw one rock at the nearest one and continue down the hall.
All right, make your attack. It's going to be nearest is going to be a zombie.
Perfect. 21 to hit. And 7 damage? 7 damage.
All right. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, one sec. So you're on your way out of this tunnel, and you can easily make it to the tunnel, but before you do, you take one more spin around and fling this rock across the room and thunk. Well, actually, it's not a skeleton, it's a zombie, so it's probably like it lodges itself into the skeleton's chest, and he stumbles and continues lumbering towards you, but you guys are considerably faster than them. What is the next turn? Lincoln, what do you want to do? You are pretty much at the entrance, at the exit, I guess now it would be, of this cave. Do you want to just head out? Or there's one more skeleton you can peg if you really feel like it.
Sure, why not? I got a 15. Do I hit it?
You got a what?
15.
Yep.
Wait. Hey. 10 damage.
So this final skeleton, you boom, your arrow all the way across this entire cave. He thinks he's safe, but it lodges right in his eye, and his skull kind of breaks and snaps off of his neck and topples to the ground, and he's just the bones of this body wandering aimlessly through this cavern now. You guys are easily able to exit this cavern if you want. There's one zombie left, and then the skeleton's got a shred of health, but they're not going to be able to keep up with you if you guys get a move on. It's up to you. What do you want to do?
Eldritch Blast both of them.
Okay. One final blast. Roll your attack.
Just to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That is 22 from one and a 15 for another.
Both hits.
All right, so let me just see. I was just, as I'm running out, I'm just being an asshole to these guys just to see what happens. That is 2 damage for one and 8 damage for the other.
2 damage for one. I'm going top to bottom, so I'm going skeleton is. That's enough. Okay, so you Eldritch Blast 2 more times just before leaving the cave, and what you can tell is on your way out, one blast goes clear across the cavern and just explodes this skeleton into a pile of bones that they just go all over the place, and it's that classic sound resonating through this cave. And then the last one hits this zombie, and some of his limbs go flying off, and then I'll say he loses the top of his torso, and he's just a pair of legs now walking towards you.
All right. Fuck these guys. I'm out.
Cool. It doesn't seem like he can ever do any more damage to anybody.
Yeah, he'll come back and kill us all in our sleep, I'm sure.
All right, you guys head out of this terrible, dark, and musty cave into less dark but still musty catacombs. You are at the original decorative monument where the body used to be, but now if you were to look inside, the sarcophagus would be open. Do you want to head back to the hotel? Do you want to gather loot? What do you want to do?
How long did that combat take? Game?
In-game? Oh boy. I haven't kept track of how many turns we did.
Probably, what, like 30 seconds maybe?
Not
Because it's 6
Basically,
seconds a round.
Do I still have Bardic Inspiration?
Let's see, we did 3 rounds, so let me do the math here.
That would be like 18 seconds. If it's 6 seconds a round in 3 rounds, yeah. Plus running, yeah, about 30 something.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, you basically just ran into this cave, grabbed the scroll, and wrecked shop. So we'll say, at the most, it was probably 50 seconds to a minute, but it could have been 30 seconds, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember how we factored in each skeleton moving and each zombie moving, but I don't know.
I want to open up the scroll then and look at it.
Oh, really? Okay. So you untie this red ribbon on the scroll and unroll it, and this thing it's already kind of falling apart at the edges, but it's still intact, and it was somehow preserved in that glass case. And This is a text. It doesn't even matter what languages you know. This is a text that you have never seen before. It doesn't look like any type of modern day racial script.
Okay, then I would like to cast. Oh, sorry, family-friendly stream.
This is not a family-friendly stream.
Oh, I said the F word, my bad.
I have it marked as NSFW, so it's all good.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure I cussed like 2 or 3 times. So.
Yeah, oops.
I even have our Discord channel marked as NSFW for the Dolby Inn, so it's all good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I'll cast comprehend languages.
What's that do?
I can understand any written language I see, so long as I'm touching the surface. It lasts an hour, and it takes a minute to read each page worth of content.
There's only about 1 page worth. And as you start deciphering this script, even though you understand what it's trying to say, it almost comes across like weird chanty gibberish. Like it's almost like you would know what they were if they were words, and yet they're kind of not words. It's almost like vocal sounds that you have to make, like guttural type sounds and things. And you can gather that it is some sort of magic chant, but you can't really tell exactly. The text itself isn't clear enough to describe what will happen if you say them, or if you cast it, or however this magic works.
It's an evil onomatopoeia.
Pretty much.
Can I transfer it into my spell book?
Holy shit. You know what? I'm going to let you do that. Go for it.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm here for this.
Holy
Then
shit.
yeah, that's exactly what I want to do.
Oh my word.
Trying to see if it like actually says how I do that.
It takes time and money.
Okay, well, we have plenty of gold in that crypt that I would probably be using.
I just imagined you putting it under a blank piece of paper and like rubbing graphite over the paper.
Oh, by the way, was there anything in that sarcophagus now that it's empty?
Yeah.
Nope, it's
I know that there's the chest and there's the gems, but is there anything else in there?
it's kind of padded, and there's an old pillow, but these things are pretty worn and weathered. That's about it. It just looks like
Okay.
there was a dude laying in there.
Well, I will not steal the things, but if someone takes it out, I will carry it. So that's what I'll do. If anyone, if we're gonna loot this place, like I'll be the one carrying it.
Hmm. Wasn't there a bag of gems somewhere?
Yep,
Yeah.
in the southern wing.
Lincoln thinks he wants those.
Okay.
For reasons.
Technically, I said there were 3 of them.
That's fine.
Okay.
One is fine.
You grab one of those. I assume you put it in your pack or tie it to your belt. Anything else? Any last things you want to do before you head back to the hotel?
I stick it in my hat.
Okay, right on. I like that.
No, I'm good. I mean, once we loot this place, I think we're good to go. I'll collect my javelins on the way out. They're stuck in the wheel.
As you pull them out, and if you want your piece of rope back, this thing's going to spin wildly as these gates come clashing shut.
I use prestidigitation to move all of his stuff in quick succession.
I would take the 10 feet of rope that I'd cut off and kind of hold it with the rest of the rope that I was holding, and then cast mending to fix it back into one piece of rope.
Oh, nice. Sorry, I'm just looking at a couple things real quick. All right, so you guys make your way. You finish off. You clean up the last of the horrors in that cave and make sure they won't harm anybody else. And you ensure that this guy from the journal is dead. And then you take your bag, put it in your hat, and head on out. You guys don't have too much trouble finding your way back. You got to cross that bridge in the sewer again, and you get up, to the open top and make your way back out into the catacomb building. And the guy says, "Oh, you're back. You find everything you're looking for? Didn't get into any trouble down there. Didn't use magic, I hope."
It was quite an informative trip.
Excellent. Well, do come back again. The catacombs are always open to visitors, and we do get so lonely here. So you guys.
I want to say something mean to him, but I just can't think of what I'm going to say. I'm going to just be like, you know what? You're such a great guy. You're in such great shape. You're so youthful. We appreciate all that you've done for us.
Oh, you're too kind, my good man. And he kind of beams, and his chubby cheeks give a big grin. So you guys head back to the inn, and all in all, this journey probably took you not longer than an hour. You guys busted right through it, and this guy is still sitting at the counter, and he's ordered. You can see like 2 empty, maybe 3 empty glasses of ale, and he's on his 4th, and he sees you and he goes, "Ah, you are back. That took no time at all. It must have been quite easy for you, I assume, or did you not succeed?" And he has a concerned look on his face like, "Oh, I've dealt with this before."
I'll hand the scroll over to him and sit at the bar and count everyone that's here and 5 ales, please.
But the scroll.
Yes, it was
the scroll. Did you get the scroll?
I'm gonna point to the scroll that I literally just handed to him and go, "I'm not certain what you think that is."
I'm sorry, the DM was looking at this animated skeleton gif.
My bad.
Yes, no problem at all.
I can't stop watching. I can't stop watching it. I'm like cheering the skeleton on, like, "You can make it. There's water on the other side. Just around the corner." So he picks up the scroll and he goes, his whole face lights up in a kind of a disgusting, sinister way. And he, if you tied the thread back on, he unties it and he unrolls the scroll and looks at it. And then he scans the text and he goes, yes, I understand. Yes, I know what this is. And he starts going, and as he's reciting this, you start to see his form change kind of grotesquely, like you see werewolf transformations on movies and things. And his skin turns kind of pale and gray, and he starts to grow larger size, and he steps off the stool as he's reading this scroll. And
I pulled it out of his hand before he finishes doing that.
Make a, let's see.
Lincoln is lawful good. He does not like this at all. He wants to stab this guy.
What the hell?
What the fuck? What is
Try sleight of hand.
But if I could, I'm just gonna strong arm him. Well, I'll do sleight of hand, but I am just like.
I got a nat 20.
If you want to just,
Oh, wow.
you can.
No, she
use
got
it.
nat 20. She got nat 20.
You guys both lunge at this guy, and you snatch this scroll out of his hands halfway, and he doesn't even see it coming. He's so zoned in on this and all that, and then he stops and he looks at you guys, and he says, "I heard you, go," and you can't quite understand what his words are, but he's motioning for you to like give it back.
Can I cast
Stab it?
comprehend languages on
Yeah.
myself and then try and talk to him again?
Yeah.
I didn't want to take it. I wanted to stab the guy.
Oh, okay. You rolled a 20 or something like that? So we'll say that Lucas reached and snatched it out of his hands, and then you immediately plunge your sword into him. And he spins around and looks at you, and he lets out a guttural roar. And it's really grotesque because he's like, you know, the Animorphs covers, the book covers?
Yes.
He's like halfway. He's not finished yet. He's almost monstrous and he's almost human. And then he's going to make another lunge for the scroll. I will make the sleight of hand check. I rolled a 5 against, let's see. Do you want to do like acrobatics or something? Or
Yeah, I can do an acrobatics. That's what you want me to do. That is an 18, no bonuses.
oh, he absolutely can't get this thing. He's not fast enough. You're taller probably than he was, and he starts to look more and more frustrated and confused, and you can see that this weird halfway state is starting to affect him in a bad way. And in just a moment, it's almost like he's forgotten what's been going on, and he looks at you like he doesn't recognize you. And then he starts to just kind of lumber into the lobby and make his way towards the exit. And you see at the counter, Curry Beauregard, the general manager of the hotel, he looks over at Feather, who's standing next to him, and he says, well, it looks like Phineas will be checking out. And I think that's where we're going to end our adventure.
Damn it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Rupert, make that something stronger than ale, actually.
Oh, shit. So what the hell was that all about?
It was, I'm going to stop the stream real quick.